And I'll also apologize ahead of time for those of you who are at the installation dinner. This will be a little bit of a repeat, but hopefully it's a good reminder for you. So I heard this story told one time to me, and it impacted me greatly. And so I think it's worth repeating. It's worth you hearing again. And I love repeating the story. So there was this family. It was a mom, a dad, a son, a daughter. Great family, happy family, a lot of joy in the home, just a really solid family. And when the daughter turned 15, she became pregnant. Now, this was in a time where, I mean, not that it's not difficult to be a teen mom today, but this is in a time where it was completely looked down upon. And so the entire mood in their family changed, everything. It became quiet. The laughter was gone. They didn't know how they were going to handle it. The daughter stopped going to school because of the shame on the family, and it just really impacted them greatly. And so the 7-year-old, here he went from having this family that was full of life and full of fun to this just quiet, somber time in his home. And one day there was a knock at the door, and he answered the door, and there was a man standing there with a box. And the little boy immediately knew who he was because he was the high school football coach. And being a little boy, he was in awe of that. And the gentleman says, "Hey, is your mom and your sister around? I'd like to talk to them." And so he goes and gets his mom and his sister. He comes in with this heavy box and he sits it down. He says, "You know what? I'm the high school football coach, but I'm also the typing teacher. And I've heard of your situation, and I want to help you. I want to teach you how to type because I believe if I give you a skill, that will help you get through this difficult time in your life." And so he did just that. He showed up at their house faithfully week after week, taught her to type, gave her a skill. She went on to get her GED and to get a job as a secretary. And she worked hard at that job, and she continued to work hard and move her way up and get new jobs and move her way up. And as it turns out, the last known job that she was the assistant, the executive assistant to the CEO of the company that makes McDonald's Happy Meal toys. So all because one person showed up and gave out of what they had and out of their box, her life and her family's life was changed forever. And I don't know if that story impacted me so much because my life was also changed by a story, and I also was pregnant in high school at 17, or my life was changed by a teacher. At 17, my senior year, I was pregnant, and I wasn't going to be able to graduate from high school because I was failing high school English, and it's the one credit I needed to get my diploma. And I walked in, and my English teacher at the end of the year said to me, "You're not passing my class." And I'm like, "Tell me something I don't already know." And I had just given birth in March. I had just gotten back to school. And he said to me, "Well, I'm going to retire this year. So my gift to you is I'm going to graduate you. Your gift back to me is you're going to leave and you're going to go make something of your life." And so I got to graduate. And I hope in some way I've honored him in some small way with my life and what the gift was he gave me. But the whole point of the story is we all have something that we can give. We all have a box. Every single one of you has something that you can give of your life. And I think that really is what Rotary is all about. To me, that's the core. It is service above self. I mean, we joke we're a drinking club with a service problem, and it's a lot of fun. And we have so much fun. I can't tell you the fun that we had in Calgary. Unbelievable to go on a trip like that with 12 Rotarians and a spouse and have a great time together. But the bottom line is it's really about all of us collectively coming together so that we can give out of our box. And I started thinking, like, where did service above self, where did the desire to serve come in for me? And it started with my grandmother. So growing up, I had a very difficult childhood. My dad was an alcoholic. My home was chaos, to say the least. And so she was my safe space. And I spent a lot of time with this woman. And she was a little wild. She was a little crazy. I could tell you stories that you wouldn't probably believe. But she was very giving. And so some of my earliest memories with her are getting in her car to go deliver Meals on Wheels. And we would pick up this food, these boxes of food. It smelled awful, but we'd pick up these boxes of food. I just remember the smell of her car. It was very distinct. But we would take these meals in to these people who couldn't get out. And she would always sit down for a minute and talk with them. And then she had people that she would take me to the nursing home with, that she'd visit the nursing home. She'd take me along. And then she had people who couldn't drive. I remember this one woman who lived in Mount Joy and she had cancer, and we would take her for her chemo treatments. And so she just instilled in me not only to give out of your box, but to do it with joy, and it was fun. Like, I don't ever remember as a child being like, oh, we got to deliver Meals on Wheels today, or oh, we got to go visit so-and-so in the nursing. Like, she made giving out of her box and giving of her life fun, and that impacted me greatly. And so fast forward to now, to being president of this Rotary Club. Many years ago, what seems like many years ago, y'all sat down, some of you sat down in a room and you interviewed me and you decided I'd be okay for this job. And it really was such an honor. And leading up to it through the years, I've had people say to me, so what are you going to do? It's an important year. It's a very important year. What are you going to do your year? What are your goals? Did you think about your goals yet? And it kind of felt a little actually intimidating, a little heavy. I had a lot of good examples before me, and I had a lot of people who were supporting me, but it felt intimidating. And as I started thinking about my goals, I thought, really, do we have to make it that complicated? And so basically I came up with two goals. Be a good human and be a good Rotarian. Take what you have in this box, give it away freely and extravagantly, and change the lives of every person that you touch. That's it. And then today I was thinking, after I did this, and that was my goal, be a good human and be a good Rotarian, I'm like, well, why does it have to be just good? Let's be a great human. Let's be a great, Rotarian. Like, what would that look like for us? And so really, it seems so simple, but the bottom line is this club does not belong to me. Thank you for entrusting me to lead it this year, but it belongs to you. And it really comes down to what you do. So it's not my goals, it's your goals. What are your goals for your life this year? What are your goals to be a good, great Rotarian this year? I mean, I have some things, because I do actually have to put actual goals into RI, and I do have to list some actual real things that I want to do. And I do have some ideas. But really, I can have all the ideas in the world, but without you all deciding you want to give, there's not much that I can do on my own. And so one of my big goals is member engagement. I don't know if we do a good enough job of recognizing you guys and when you do give so freely out of your box, because I see a lot that you all do. And so I want to make sure that we recognize accomplishments. I want to make sure that we have fun doing so and have some fun events and just have a good time together. I want to take, this is an interesting one, but I want to take a mediocre member and make them a good one. And you're like, what does that mean? And is she talking to me? And no, I'm not talking to anybody in this room. Yeah, Glenn. But really think about it. Who's someone that you know that's a member of this club who you haven't seen in a while? Maybe it's somebody you proposed for membership. Or maybe it's just somebody that you think, I haven't seen them here in a while. Invite them, get them back into a meeting. Invite them to go with you somewhere. Let's show them again why we do what we do. And then membership growth, well, that's a tough one, because we want quality members. It's not just about numbers. I mean, it's quality over quantity. It really is. I don't want to just get a bunch of people in here, but I am a little competitive. And it was just brought to my attention today that we are this close, 2 members behind Harrisburg. We're club number 3 in our district. We're 2 behind Harrisburg. So now I do have a goal for membership growth. Indeed, I do. I don't think it will ever be in my year, or I don't know about my lifetime, to beat York, but damn it, can we beat Harrisburg? And so who do you know that you can bring along, who can come to the meetings, learn a lot of great things, have a great time, serve our community, give extravagantly. Who do you know that you can bring with you? So now that's my challenge. I mean, if we could all think of one person to bring along, and then if only a half of them or a quarter of them actually decided, okay, I'm going to join Rotary, we'd beat Harrisburg. So I do have some goals now because I am a little competitive. Service projects. Who here participated in a service project last year? Okay. I want to see every hand up. Service above self. That's what we do. And I'm open. Do you see a need in our community, a project that we could take on? Reach out to me. Let's talk about it together. It doesn't have to be huge. It's the small things that we do. It's the typing teacher who just taught someone how to type. It's the small things that we do that impact lives. And so what is a need that you see out there that we could have some phenomenal new service projects? And then finally, one thing you're not going to hear me shut up about is the Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Foundation transforms your gifts into service projects that change lives both close to home and around the world. And so I can't read that, it's too small there. Since it was founded more than 100 years ago, the foundation has spent more than $4 billion on life-changing sustainable projects. It's really unbelievable if you think about it. It's a 4-star charity, and 88% of the funds are spent on programs, awards, and operations. And so maybe you're wondering, how does it work? What does it look like? Because I had no idea, and maybe some of you know, maybe you all know, and maybe I was the only one who didn't know. But basically, you give your money now to the Rotary Foundation. They invest it. So donations are invested for 3 years. That growth supports foundation operations, goes to the World Fund and the district designated funds. And so the World Fund is global grants and program, and the district designated fund is district grants and global grants. And I know that you all know we're doing a global grant this year, and we did do a district grant all for the same thing for a clinic in Ghana, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But for you to understand, for that to be possible, that money was given 3 years ago. Well, 3 years ago, the world was a very different place, so giving was down. Our giving as a club is down. We used to, if you remember, made giving to the foundation as part of your dues. Quarterly, it was $25. So it made $100 a year because Rotary has this goal. Every Rotarian every year is $100. Like, that's a goal. Well, we did away with that, and I think some of us forgot to keep giving. And so my challenge to you is to keep giving. Can you give that this year? Can you give $100 to the foundation? Because that's going to get invested, and in 3 years, there'll be lives that'll be changed because of that money, and that money comes back to us. That district grant money, like, we get that back. We get to do significant things with that money when we do the grants. Can you give more than $100? I'm going to continue to challenge you. And I want to just talk to you a little bit about my why and why it's so important to me. And I want you to start thinking about your why. Why are you in Rotary? Why are you sitting here today? What was your motivation? What was your goal? Has it changed? It changed for me. I'll be honest. My husband started going to Rotary with Dennis because he was working for Dennis. Dennis invited him to Rotary. I had never heard of Rotary. But Greg was going to Mooduk on Monday nights drinking beer, and I wanted to go there too. And they were closed. And I could only go there if I were a Rotarian, so I did it. But I also went in with no idea that I wasn't supposed to do everything else. And I think that had a lot to do with Dennis, because he didn't really give a choice of, he said, this is what you do as a Rotarian. So it was going to Rotary Leadership Institute. It was going to our Rotary District Conference every year. It was going to a foundation dinner to find out what the foundation was. It was all of those things. And that's where I drank the Kool-Aid. And that's where I saw a bigger picture. And then it was going to convention in Houston. And then it was going with a group of people to Chicago to have a phenomenal time. And then it was going to Calgary. And it keeps getting, every time, my picture, my idea of what Rotary is and my why gets bigger and bigger. And when I was proposed to be your president for this year and we talked about doing a global grant, I'm like, I'm in. I know a significant gift like that will change lives. And I knew exactly where I wanted that money to go. I'm pretty dang selfish. So I had spent several years going to a community in Agbogashi, Accra, Ghana. It's a slum community where children have no hope for a future. But yet we started a school sponsorship program there. And I'm so excited to say that Greg and I we have 4 students that are going through elementary, middle school, and high school right now. But we just also put our second one in college. Through a sponsorship program, those lives will be changed forever. But you know what they don't have? They don't have any medical care. Zero, zilch, nothing. They get sick, and they either have to have the money to get themselves out of that community to go to a clinic, or they're going to depend on what's there available to them in that community, which has a lot to do with some witchcraft and a lot of crazy kind of ideas. And so they had no access to medical care. And I know personally what it feels like because you've heard the story, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I got sick there, sicker than I've ever been in my entire life. I was on the ground between 2 big trucks. I lost control of all bodily functions. I thought I was going to die right there. And when I finally got myself up, there was no place to go. There was no restroom to go. They don't have a bathroom to go clean myself up and to get myself together. There was definitely not a medical facility for me to go get checked out. And that's how they live there every single day. I remember going back the next year and people said, why are you going back there after you got so sick? Why wouldn't I? That's how they live every single day of their life. And so this organization, Arm of Hope, had this idea to build a medical clinic, but you know what it needs? It needs medical equipment. Do you know what we can do here, the Elizabethtown Rotary Club, little old Elizabethtown? We can provide that medical equipment through a global grant. This is Matilda. She's one of our students that we sponsor. And the thought to me now that if she gets sick, she's going to have a place to go. And so she doesn't have to miss school. So that she does have hope for her future. That means the world to me. But that can only be done through our giving. That's it. So when I said you're not going to hear the end of it, when I talk about the Rotary Foundation, you're not going to hear the end of it. Because it's so important to me. I want someone here or someone, a few of you, to guess what are, and you, if you were at the dinner, you can't guess. And I'm going to get this number right this time, second time around. What do you think our all-time giving is? 100 years. What's our all-time giving to the Rotary Foundation? Elizabethtown. Come on now, somebody that wasn't at the dinner, what do you think? How much have we given? I need somebody to take a guess. 2 million. 2 million. Huh, well, in my dreams. But we're at $476,077. Cha-ching, I did it. This close to $500,000. And so I thought this year, why don't we make that our goal? $500,000. And then I thought, is that goal too small? I don't know. But I hope next year when I'm standing here, we've hit that or far exceeded it. So think deeply about your why. Tell our Rotary story. Tell your story. Tell me how you've given from your box. I want to hear about it, and that's how we will change lives. And now I'm going to do a little shift and just do a little business here and talk a little bit about being 100 because it's a pretty significant accomplishment that we've made. And do you know I'm the 100th president of Rotary? We've never had to do a repeat. How amazing is that? So when you're digging deep and thinking about your why, I want you to be thinking future and think about leadership and think about what maybe if you've never been in this role, what you could give. But 100 years is pretty significant, and I just want to go over a couple of things that we're going to be doing this year. We're going to be doing a global grant. The grant application has taken me 4 years. It's now been submitted to Rotary International. I've now answered Rotary International's questions that they've had this week, and I am now waiting on one letter from the Ghana Health organization that to state that they're in support of it, to submit the letter to get approval for that grant. It will happen, and it will happen soon. We are going to have banners. So every year we have banners that we put up on the street, Rotary banners. They go up in the fall. But this year we're going to have it changed a little bit to signify that this is our 100th year. We put benches, 2 places, signifying Rotary. And Deb, you found our benches. We found a bench. So we have one at Echoes, and we have one on the Conewaga Trail. 2 on the Conewaga Trail. Signifying, hey, Rotary, 100 years. Look, they're here. This is what we've done. We're going to work on a mural to go up, hopefully on the side of the building of the Parma Pizza, which used to be Brothers Pizza, to honor 100 years. We're taking on a project with the Marriage Hub to redo the marquee because it's long overdue. And that probably will not be completed this year, but it's going to be started this year. We're going to come alongside them because Rotarians can do some pretty amazing things, and we're going to raise the money to fix that marquee. We're going to have a dinner. It's going to be a phenomenal dinner at the Masonic Ballroom. It's going to be on January 17th. We're going to have some amazing people there, maybe even the RI president. We're going to do some fun things, have some great entertainment, and everybody there is going to get a new name tag to signify our 100th year. We're going to have a little swag store where you can purchase some Rotary swag that will indicate also 100 years. So when you're out and somebody says to you, what's Rotary? You can tell them and you can invite them into a meeting. So there are some of the big projects. There's some of the big things that we're going to do, but there's going to be a lot of small things of giving along the way. And I hope that you'll come alongside of me and that you'll do that with me. And now for a little club news. You all were receiving letters as you walked in the door. If you missed it, we are changing how we do our billing. Instead of being billed quarterly, you're going to be billed twice a year. It's all laid out in that letter. Typically, it will be on October 1st and April 1st, but so we can get on that cycle, you're getting that now. So when your dues come out, if you're ACH or when you pay, it's going to be 2 times that. And the reason for that is we found the way that we were doing it before is if somebody hadn't paid their dues, we were still paying RI for that person. Here we come to find out they don't want to be a Rotarian anymore, which is okay, but they didn't let us know. And so we want to make sure we're really good stewards of the money we have, because the more money that we have, the more we can give and do. And so we don't want to be wasting money like that. And just to say one thing about Hennigan's here, we're saving a significant amount of money on a room fee here because they're giving us this room. And so those things are the more people we're going to be able to impact. And so that's the reason for the change in the dues. There's also going to be a new rule implemented that when you purchase tickets to an event or a sponsorship, you pay that right away, instead of waiting then to be billed, because we can't carry that bill now till you're twice a month billing. You're going to have to pay for that right away, because we want to be really good stewards of the money that we have and make sure that we're spending it correctly and not carrying things like that. So if you want to be a sponsor or purchase tickets, you'll just have to pay for those right away. Club Runner. I'm going to ask Debbie to tell us a little bit about Club Runner and the changes there.
All right, so Club Runner is making a change and updating and coming into, what year is this, 2025? We are required to make that change by the beginning of next year. Every club is changing. So there's some enhancements. We're hoping it's easier to manipulate or to go through. If you are not on Club Runner, and I can see if you have gone into Club Runner, if you have an account on Club Runner, if you don't, please go on and do it. If you don't know how to do it, let me know. I got Ben Hoffman on Club Runner on his phone on an app. If I can get Ben, I can get you. All right. I was getting text message or, hey, do you have so-and-so's number? It's on Club Runner. Do you have so-and-so's address? It's on Club Runner. So Tom, Joe, myself, and I don't know who else, will be looking to start changing everything over in September, and probably Hawk over there too. We'll probably need your help as well. So just look for those updates. And when Denise said about the new name badges, if you need to go online, look at your information. If you don't know what it says, I will help you, and I'll help you get on Club Runner. Because when we order new name badges, if your classification's not right, it's your problem. Okay? I'm not going to call everybody and say, hey, does this look okay? When we order new name badges, it's going to be what we have in our system. So if you want to make a change, that's on you. Do that. I'll help you, but you need to take ownership of that. Any questions?
Well, thank you so much for the privilege of being your president this year. Thank you so much for your time of listening to me. Remember your why and why you're a Rotarian. Give extravagantly this year and every year out of the box that you've been given. We're all so blessed in this room. Whether it's financially, whether it's your time, whatever it is, give extravagantly this year. And when we do that, when I come back here and I give my final goodbye next year, we will have been great humans and we will have been great Rotarians. So thank you. Does anyone have any questions for me? I'm an open book. What do you got?
Denise, you didn't say it, but how much is